It is a time of goodbyes for me. Goodbyes to the place that I've been living in. Goodbyes to the friend, lover, wonderful human being that I have been living with. Goodbye to a version of myself, and goodbye to a secure future in which it is known what is going to happen to me. And I am typically the radical type of person, and I tend to put myself into these kinds of situations pretty often, at least once a year, where I don't know what is going to happen next, and I've given up on everything that kept me feeling secure, yet also tied to a place, to responsibilities, to people. And now we're here once again. I've given up my job, I've given up my apartment, and I intend to travel, and we'll see when the funds come through for that to happen. So it's a little bit like all of the things in my life are hanging on a thin line. And yeah, obviously that comes with a lot of emotion, also because the chapter of my life that is ending now has really been one of the most beautiful ones that I've ever gotten to experience. And I also know that it's only going to get better. That's just the nature of my life. But it is aching the heart, at least a little bit, to leave behind and to close this off. And yeah, I feel deep melancholy in myself right now, and also excitement for the future. I'm going to Kailash, I'm going to Nepal, I'll be going to Mexico and meet some other women that were part of the Quantum Bridge course with Heather. And all of this is exciting, but it doesn't have a clear shape or form yet. What does have a clear shape or form is what is going on within me, the shifts in my energy and frequency, and especially in the throat chakra, this center. A lot of activations have been happening in the past few weeks, and I've gained a stronger ability to retain and organize and direct my energy field consciously. So this is interesting. And I've also gained the ability to communicate better through energy, through words, and I even became a better singer. I sang my first opera, an aria, for an audience, and it was really great. People were really impressed and kind of blown away, which was because of my voice, but more so because of the expansion that they felt in their hearts when getting in touch with my energy. That really opened up when I allowed myself to go into a channeling state actually while I was singing. And even my teacher, she came to me and said, like, things fell into place that you never did before, even when we were practicing together, and I don't know what you just did there, but it was an awesome performance. So I'm really proud of myself, and life is so dear to me, life is so great. And I feel that I want to share more about what it is that is in me, happening currently. Which is actually just a big clearing process, because I've been working with this Kailash energy, and obviously it's Shiva, so it means destruction, it means dissolution, dissolving aspects of the life, dissolving aspects of our inner self, and essentially coming to terms with the fact that we don't exist, and that consciousness in itself is pure and absolute and empty. Yet on the other hand, there is also the expression of consciousness in the embodied and manifest world, which isn't empty at all, and it does exist in a relative way. And in this world, in our embodied selves, we can enjoy and we can act and we can kind of make things happen. Oh wow, I'm so tired. So there is a relationship between us connecting to the emptiness of consciousness, that empty space, that, I want to say luminous, but it's not luminous, that darkness, nothingness, the place where you can sink into inside of yourself that feels like sleep, but it isn't sleep, and suddenly you wake up from it and you realize that you are here and that you exist. And just a moment before that you weren't there was nothing at all, that place. The more we connect to this, the more we unfold as authentic beings in the manifest world, in the world in which our consciousness expresses in a certain form through a certain body, and in a world where we appear to have choices and create as human beings, as human creators. And even more interesting is that the more we tap into our authentic selves in the manifest world, the more we get in touch with the ultimate divine emptiness of consciousness. So it works the other way around as well, where the more honest you get about who you are in each and every moment, and this can be a changing thing, it doesn't have to be rigid or consistent, it's really just attunement to whatever you feel, think and perceive, and honesty about that in each and every situation. The more you somehow fall into alignment with the greater universe and this greater consciousness, and the more you gain access to it. And the moments that I experienced over the past few weeks where I was in full alignment with myself, with my authenticity, were moments where I really just shot up in the sky like an arrow, like firework, without control over what is going on in my system, and huge flares of energy came through, and I started experiencing states of consciousness that I had never really experienced, that are not at all meditative. They are not at all sit back, sit still, and shut your mouth and everything becomes silent and peaceful type of experience. More so an experience where creation is happening, and it is happening at its peak level creation. And a flock of birds just flew by, like I was in the midst of it. That was beautiful. So creation happening at its peak, because we become so authentic with ourselves and within ourselves, and safe within ourselves and the expression of our inner nature and inner child, that Shakti energy, the life force, just has free flow, and it can freely create through us. And so the universe, the consciousness that is the base or the ground of everything, kind of gets free access to express itself through you. And I just read in a book by Andrew Cohen, or that is summarizing the teachings of Andrew Cohen, that this has a huge impact on our karmic structures. So the karmic structures of a human being are the thought patterns, emotional patterns, actually baseline energetic patterns, but they express in all the ways that a human being exists, so thought, emotion, body. And these patterns, they tend to guide our consciousness. And if we get a little bit of freedom from them, we have the chance to experience ourselves as something more. We can basically transcend that perception of ourselves. We can transcend that limited idea or concept or structure of self and tap into higher states of consciousness that are more unlimited and more unhinged and more free. And ultimately, in the highest level, they have no form or limitation whatsoever, and it is just pure empty consciousness. And so classic spiritual paths tend to give us tools to get to this awakening of that pure empty state of consciousness within us by meditation. And the other way around is to get there by total involvement in life, just absolute passion and complete surrender to the creative force. So there's this kind of duality, and at some level apparently it's not a duality, it's just one and the same thing. The empty consciousness, the base or the ground of everything that creates a life force impulse, that creates a manifest universe. And if we can give into the life force impulse itself in each and every moment, without falling into the restrictions of our limited self-sense, then we also have the fuel, we have the limitless energy, because we are literally tapped into that limitless energy. And we have the fuel to kind of burn away these patterns with the blink of an eye. And so I'm kind of developing, or I have been developing, a greater union of these two sides of the same coin, which is a funny thing to say. But it is so. I've been learning to work with my creative energy and setting the boundaries for me to feel safe within my own framework enough to let that roaring, unhinged, fiery, and hugely energetic impulse be what guides me. And what happens is very miraculous in these moments. And the sun has dropped, so it is time for me to go home and be warm and enjoy the last evening that I have with furniture in my apartment. And I'm going to eat dates covered with chocolate and peanut butter and watch a movie and just snuggle and be cozy and rest, because I know very soon my life will be explosive, be adventurous, and I will cast myself completely into the unknown and be completely led by my intuition, by spirit guides, by other spiritual beings and energies that apparently want things for me and from me in this life. And I'll share all of that in benefit to you and your awakening and your development. And I share my field with you in this very moment. You can tap into the frequency and feel my heart. So that we can feel connected in this journey, never alone, so that we can know that we are all expressions of the very same source consciousness, here to awaken and mirror each other. And that we can lift each other up.